What's going on, Sumolings? It is Chris from AppSumo, and today I am super excited because we have a killer webinar for you today. I am joined with Tracy, who is the co-founder and president of WishList Member. Now, for those of you who don't know, though I imagine you do because you're on this webinar, WishList Member is a plugin that transforms any WordPress site into a full-fledged membership site with protected online content. So I want to say this is one of the highest registered webinars we've had in 2020. Super excited to get going. We got a bunch of you guys on here. Two quick things before I turn it over to Tracy is one, if you have any questions, you can drop those in the Q&A box below the video. We'll get some answers for you at the tail end of the webinar. And number two, if you have to jump out early for any reason, don't worry. We'll be sending out the replay for you so you can check it out either later today or early tomorrow, depending on how long this video takes to process. But that's all I got. Tracy, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Hey, Chris, thanks for having me. I certainly do appreciate it. I'm super excited. I've been a Sumoling for a long time, and I have bought a bunch of deals. In fact, you guys keep bringing awesome deals. And I'm like, dang, I got to spend more money, but I'm excited to be here.
Well, now you're one of them. People are going crazy over this. So everyone's super excited to dive into it.
Yeah.
What's your background? Where did this idea come up with?
Well, wow, we've been at it for a long time, Chris. We started this project back in 2008. So,
wow,
you know, we've been developing on WishList Member for over 11 years now. So it has been crazy for us. And I started with a software background, and I had a partner at the time, and we wanted to build a membership plugin because WordPress was just blowing up. And back then it was just all about themes, and there really were very, very few plugins back when Woo was a theme company, not a commerce company. So it's been super exciting. And then fast forward a bit, and when you look at what this deal is about, we completely redid WishList Member. And that's why we're actually on here, because in many ways, we're kind of treating it like a startup. I doubt that I really thought we would never do this, but I'm almost positive we'll never do it again. But it's been super, super exciting to interact with the whole Sumo Lean community. So I'm ready to get going.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Thank you so much for doing this deal. Like I said, people have been going crazy over it. Tons of people on this webinar. I know people hate me for continuing to talk, so I'm going to turn myself off. If you want to turn on your screen share, and we'll just dive into it.
All right, so I'm going to do that in just a second, but I want to do a little bit of quick housekeeping myself.
Sure.
We do have Ray, who's like the glue of WishList products. He manages our support team. He is in the background, and he's trying to help us with questions. We have a ton of stuff that we have to cover, and I've been working the questions in the AppSumo deal, so I know what people are asking, and I'm trying to give kind of a high-level overview and set up a quick membership site super, super fast. So awesome. I know that there's going to be a ton of questions, and Chris, if there's something that is like overwhelmingly like, oh, I got to stop you right here about what I'm doing specifically, feel free to do that, and I'll leave that to your judgment. But I know that there's going to be questions that are just all over the map, and we'll tackle those for you guys later.
We'll jump into those towards the tail end, let you get your walkthrough through, and hopefully you'll answer some of them along the way.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen over here. Let's make sure I get the right one here. Yeah, also forgot to set my countdown timer. Okay, let's see.
And while Tracy's getting this set up, everyone in the comments, let us know. Have you guys already bought WishList Member? Are you on the fence about it? Why are you here? You're trying to figure out how to get it set up, or you're wondering whether or not you should make the deal? Let us know in the comments. And Tracy, this is coming through clear on my end, so I'm going to get my ugly mug out of here, and you are good to go.
All right, perfect. Well, like I said, I'm going to zip through this super fast, and I'm going to be going back and forth between screens here. But here I am. I'm going to start from scratch because I'm here in the my products. I've got a bunch. I don't want to go through my whole history, but I'm going to go here to the redemption instructions page, and then I am going to copy my code. I'm going to click redeem now, and I'm going to make a test account, and There we go. So I'm going to redeem the code because the reason I wanted to do this is because I want to show everybody what you're getting inside and how you download it and activate it and everything. So it looks like our customer center is getting slammed. So it went a little slower than I want to. But if you did get another code, you can just click here and stack the code. You can go directly here to download the WishList Member X plugin. And I wanted to take just a quick second to explain that. We've got over 30,000 customers because we've been doing this for a long time. And so it's WishList Member. We created an identical product so that there wouldn't be overlap with the licenses. There's been a lot of questions on current customers. Will the new license just work with this? It's actually the same license key that you had, but it's actually activating a different product. If you have WishList Member on your old site and then you deactivate it, then you upload this new one, it will be the same license key and it will open up and everything will be good to go. Now I can just click here and I can download the product. I'm not going to go through the whole thing on downloading it, but I'll just click here and I'll save it to my desktop. And now what I've done here is I have just set up a new WordPress site. Now, on this WordPress site, I've done some quick things, just really, really quick things. I have gone in and I have created 3 pages. I have also created posts. And you'll see that I've just put in the default theme of WordPress. I have not done anything fancy at all. Okay, so this is a good point in time for me to tell you what WishList Member is and what it is not, because there has been some confusion and maybe some questions in the deal page about building courses. Can you build courses with it? Yes. But what WishList Member really is, it's all about controlling access to the content. That includes anything that you can put on a page, post, or even a custom post type. So if you're using any kind of other plugin like a learning management system to actually track and create individual courses, you can use our plugin to connect it. Now, you also can build anything you want. A lot of people are asking about, is it compatible with page builders, specifically Elementor? And we use Elementor and love Elementor. We have tons of people asking about Divi. Divi's been around for a long time, so we're naturally compatible with all those. We don't interfere with them. We just protect the page on what you build with all these plugins. Okay, so here we are. Now, I'm going to also do something here that's a little unique, and I want to explain. I'm going to be, right now you'll see on my screen, I'm using Chrome, and I'm going to be switching in and out of Chrome and Firefox. So I just loaded up Firefox, and I'm going to bring it right here because what I want to show you is this is just the site that I'm looking at. Now, this is a brand new install, and I'm looking at it in Firefox because I'm acting like I'm really just a visitor. I am not working in WishList Member under Firefox. I'm kind of simulating the fact that I'm a visitor to the website. So right now, this is just a website. It's completely open. And now I'm going to switch back over to Chrome. And so now that I'm in Chrome, I'm going to go into the plugins. And when you go into plugins, you can use this little button here that says add new, and you can upload it. But I've already uploaded this, so I'm going to just activate the plugin just like any other WordPress plugin you would activate. Now, when you do that, it's going to put this right up here. Now, if you don't like it being up here, we have some settings. You can move it down here at the bottom, but our interface works much better if it's right up here at the top. So I'm going to come over here, and the first thing it's going to ask you for is your license key. And I had, I believe I copied that when I was in the customer center. And so I'm just going to activate the license right now. And so now here we are. And I had activated this. Now I did some testing before this and I forgot to do something. So I'm actually going to back up here, Chris, and I am going to kill this so that I have no membership levels. Okay, so after you activate it for the first time, it's going to ask you if you want to run this wizard. and it'll be right there on, you don't have to go to the dashboard page. You'll go right here. If you say yes, you're going to run this first wizard. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a level name. I'm just going to call it, actually, let's call this level 1. And then you need to specify how long you want people to have access to this. Most commonly, it will be an ongoing level. That means people are going to have access to it as long as they pay. So sometimes people would confuse that. We're like, well, I'm going to charge once a month, so I'm only going to give them access to it for 30 days. No, you're giving them access to it forever unless they cancel their payment, and then the cancellation will cut them off. So that's what you're doing here. Fixed term is usually if you're wanting to sell something and maybe you're wanting them to have access to a course maybe for a year or something like that. And a specific date is if you want to cancel it, everybody on the same date. A specific date is for the whole membership site. The whole site would no longer have access on the specific date that you chose. So let's go back and leave it on ongoing. And I'm going to click next. I'm not going to go through everything on here. There's going to be some of the things I'm going to have to skip over really quickly, but you can say, do I want people to have to be approved by the admin? And do I want them to have to click checkbox to say that I require terms and conditions when they register? So I'm going to leave that one on and we'll go to next. And I'm going to leave the regular protection. I'm not going to automatically protect anything. And then WishList Member does send out emails. Lots of people have had questions on whether or not we integrate with certain email providers. And yes, we do. We have a long list of email providers and we've got more coming. We'll talk about some of those integrations at the end of the webinar. But on this has to do with email messages that come directly from WordPress. So for example, we're going to talk a little bit later about when somebody signs up and they're new to your membership site, they'll get a welcome email, or if they needed to reset their password, they forgot their password, all that stuff, you can specify what email address it comes from. So I'm just going to leave that as this is the same thing I used when I set up the website. And then this is our final step. Would you like to enable any of the integration? So right here, I'm going to say, yeah, I want to enable, let's just say Stripe. And then also first one in the list, very long time company is Aweber. So let's just click that. And then I will say save. Now, what it's going to tell you is you have some third-party integrations that have been enabled. Again, we have a lot of them, and we have you enable them on and off on the ones that you're using, so we don't have to load all the code for them. So later on, you would need to go and you need to set those up. I'm going to skip that, and I'm just going to say exit the wizard, because what I want to show you is now we have one membership level here. Now, we zipped through it, and we did the setup wizard. So we kind of assumed a lot of things when you set that up, but you also have a ton of control over how you want to run your membership site. We've had questions in the forum. Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? And the answer to pretty much all of them is mostly yes. Occasionally there's going to be something else, but I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to setup. And then I'm going to go to the levels, and this is the level that we created, and we did that with the wizard. So everything is pretty much set up as a default, but I'm going to create a new level here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this one level 2, and I'll apply the name to it. And so you'll see now this is just a little bit different here. And it's similar in the sense that you need to choose the expiration options, and you can also automatically give access to certain things but I'm going to leave all of this alone. And then what I want to do is I want to go over here to registrations, and you can choose if you want this level to be for new members only, or if it's a level where people are upgrading and you only want it for existing members. But most commonly, you would have it for both new and existing. And so now there's all kinds of things that you can customize in here. But I want to point out this one right here, because this is the enable simple registration URL. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this because we're going to use it later. Now, obviously I don't have time to go through and set up an integration for a payment system in this demo, but what this does is you can turn this on and off, and this will basically allow you to accept free registrations. Some people actually create websites where they have free registrations, but I'm definitely going to leave that on because we're going to walk through that in just a bit. So here we have our requirements. And again, we talked about this earlier. If you wanted to have admin approval, or like we did in the other one, I've turned this one on require terms and conditions. And you'll notice that whenever I turn a setting on, that's when you have the ability to configure it. We didn't want everything to get in the way when you didn't even have the setting turned on. So I'll just turn this back off so that we can zip along. And then the additional settings has to do with if you want to specify where people go after they register for this level, you can do that. And this is called a custom after registration redirect or custom after login. And the reason I'm pointing that out to you is because if you come over here into the advanced options, I'm just going to open this in a new tab here. And under the advanced options, you'll see that we have the error pages, non-member, or even the redirects. These are on a global level. These are set up for your entire website. But if you want to get creative and create custom that only works for this specific level so that you can send them to a certain page, that's how you could do it right here. Now, I know I'm moving really quick because we still have a lot more stuff to do here, but I'm going to go here to the email notifications. Now, email notifications, this is when somebody registers for your website, and we have these little tooltips that you can roll over here and you can see what everything is about. And so usually the tooltips explain almost everything that you really need to know. And Ray and I, who's on the back end with us, the director of support, we went through these and worded every last one of them. And Ray is our grammar police guy. And so he helped with all these, and he's our go-to guy. Okay, so I'm going to look here at the new member registration, and I'm going to, now remember, I didn't do this in the setup wizard because the setup wizard just got you going really, really fast. So on that level 1, it created a new user notification, and this is the sender name, and this was the sender email address. So if you want to change it, you can here, or you can toggle it to everything. I like to typically change the subject line. We'll just say, "You're in. Thanks for joining." And then I won't get too crazy, but you know, I'm just gonna put some new text. So that this is the text I added. I just want to put that in there so that you can. And we also have merge codes. So if you want to send them their username, their password, and anything other, any other piece of information that you might have collected, you can always embed that in the welcome message. Now, keep in mind, this is the welcome message that goes to new users. So that's right here. We also have one that goes to the administrator of the website. Now, I'm going to click on this because let's say that I'm the administrator and I really don't want to get a new email every time somebody signs up for my membership site. No problem. I can modify it, or I could just turn it off. I don't really want to get that one. I only want new users to get that. So we've got all of our settings here, and I'm going to click save and close. And let's see. I'm just going to look at my notes here. And okay, so we pretty much have set up our registration for this level, and we're pretty much good to go. But I'm going to jump back over into Firefox right now, and I'm going to do a couple things because I want to show you what our website is like. I haven't done anything to this website yet. This is pretty much exactly the way WordPress comes, and all I have done, like I said, I created 3 pages and I created 3 posts. Now, by default, WordPress just shows what they call a blog roll. Okay, so I'm going to jump back over into WordPress, and I'm going to go here to the WordPress settings, and I'm going to go to this one that says reading, and I'm going to say you know what, I don't want it to show my latest posts. I want it to be a static page. And what page do I want that to be? They created one that's called sample page, and I'm just going to say that is going to be my static page. Okay, so let's click save changes here, and I'll go back over here to Firefox and let's refresh it. And you'll see now that the sample page is the home page. We still have all those posts on there. We still have these other pages, and I'll click on one page. That's page 1, page 2, page 3. Okay, so now these pages are just wide open. Anybody can access them. All right, so I'm going to go back here to the main page and we'll click sample page. Now let's go back into WishList Member and we will protect our content. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to pages, and I'll go to page 1. Okay, now on page 1, I just added a ton of just bogus content, but you'll see this page is unprotected. So I'm going to say protected, and now it's protected, but we have to specify which membership level can have access to it. I'm going to say I just want level 1. You have to be in level 1 to get access to page 1. So I'm going to click apply settings, and that will save it. And if I made any changes, I may even update the page here. Now let's go back and we'll go here to all pages, and you'll see that I'll jump into Firefox, and I'm just going to hit refresh here, and nothing's changed. But when I click on page 3, I can still access that. Page 2, I can access that. Page 1, which we just protected, has a dialogue here. Now, I want to point out something, because this looks like, whoa, do they put their name on everything? The answer is no. The reason that this says WishList Member is WishList Member creates a page in your site that's called WishList Member. This actual page in this theme, the page template displays the name of each page. You'll see page 2, page 3, it's always displaying the name. So if you're using a theme that does not show the page name right there, this will not show up there. But what we did was we used our page to create a dialogue, because we wanted to make it super, super easy. But what I want to do this time is let's start over. I'm going to go back here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump into WishList Member, and let's go back over here where I showed you actually in the advanced settings. We'll do the error pages, and let's go here and we'll hit configure. Remember this? I said we were going to create we were creating a dialogue. This time I'm going to create a page, and I'm going to say, okay, well, do I already have one? Nope. I want to create one. So I'm just going to create one really quick. And I'll just call this no access. So we're going to create a page, and now we've saved that. And so now anytime somebody tries to access our content, they're no longer going to get that warning dialogue that we just put in there real easy, but they're going to see this other page that we created. Now, why would that be good? Because you can put anything you want to on a page. You could put a video there, you could put anything and explain to them. You could sell your membership if that's what you wanted to do. But let's see how that turned out. You'll see I'm just going to reload the site. Here we are, and I'm going to try to access page 1. And you'll see now it's no longer going to that dialogue, but it's actually going to the page that we created. Now, the reason that this is showing a login form here is because we had a short code, and that short code included a login, because a lot of times when you go to an error page, it's probably because they just haven't logged in yet. Now, some people won't want a login form, so they can remove that. They can just decorate it however they want to, and then they can actually go to the WordPress login page. So I'm going to click that. You see this? I just went to the I clicked on it and it didn't work, right? Because I didn't even type in a username and password. It went to the WordPress username and password, and they use this for all kinds of stuff, like your lost password, all kinds of different things. It's built into WordPress. And the good thing about this is almost every plugin that deals with username and passwords and stuff, they tie into this page as well. So this looks really, really ugly, and it's not professional. And a lot of times you got to go out and get another plugin so that you can change that. But what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to change this, and I'm going to say, okay, we've got a lot of things where we can choose, okay, how many times people can log in from different sites. 7's actually kind of a lot. So let's say only 3, and I'll change that right there. That means that they can only log in from 3 different computers in one single day. But what I'm mostly wanting to do right now is I want to style that. And so we're going to give WishList Member the ability to style that page. So let's turn that on. And we already have some templates. If you want to continue to use the WordPress default, you could do that, and then you could just upload your logo, and it's like super clean and simple. But what I want to do is I want to actually choose one of these others. I'll just choose this one, and then I'll say save, and I'll say, yep, we're going to reset everything here. So I instantly just clicked a couple buttons, and now I'm going to go back into Firefox, and I'm just going to hit refresh, and let's hit resend right there. And you'll see that now the WordPress page is completely different. So it was completely styled there. All right. So that is that. Let's go. I'm trying to zip through this really, really quickly. And what I want to do now is I'm going to go back here and say, okay, remember we went into all these pages. It was very convenient that we could protect page 1, but it's kind of a pain if we had to go through every last one and do that. So what we want to do is we want to go over here to what we call content protection. Okay, so it starts by default on posts, but what I wanted to do is go to pages, and you'll see that page 1 already has level 1, and all these others, this one's locked, it's protected. These are not. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to select page 2 and 3, and actually I'm going to select page 1 as well. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to edit the content protection status, and I'm going to make them protected, and I'll update that. So you'll see that this one was already protected. But I just wanted to, I didn't have to change the status on that one. So I should have just chose these 2. But now I'm going to go back, and I'm going to select these 3. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to add one of my levels to the content. So this time I'm going to choose level 2. I'll add that. And so you can see on this one page, people can access it if they belong in level 1 or level 2. This one and this one, they can only access it if they belong in level 2. So now when we go back over to our site, you'll see, let's just go back to our main page, and I'm just going to refresh just to be sure, but you see now any one of these is protected, and it's going to the no access page. So we're all good there. And now we're going to start getting into some more. Wow, I see that there's tons of questions coming in. So Chris, hopefully I know I'm really moving fast.
No, you're doing great, Tracy. I'm just I was letting the folks know, because this is such a killer webinar and you're doing such an awesome job. Everyone's being so engaged. If people stick around until the end, I'm going to show you guys how you can win $25 in AppSumo credits along with this WishList member deal. So hang out until the end, and I'll tell you guys how you can get in on that. We might even be able to double it to 50.
I love winning credits. That's super cool. Okay, so let's see where we were here. Okay, so at this point in time, we're doing 2 things. We're in Chrome, and we're the admin, and then we're over here in Firefox, and we're just a user. Like we're just a browser of the website. So we haven't gotten in at all. Now, the question is, how do you add somebody? Okay, so I'll go back over here, and now I'm going to jump over here to the members area, and you'll see that we don't have any members. So now I could always just go in and I could manually add somebody, but there are certain scenarios when you're just doing really small sites and you're only adding, like you might have clients and you're just adding them. But usually you want your users to register. So let's go back over here, and remember when we set up this level, And I put here on the registrations, I said, hey, we're going to use this for free registrations. So now, again, I'm just going to copy this because, and then one thing I want to point out is this link, you can change this if you want it to be. But right now we generate something kind of random here. And so now I'm going to go back over into Firefox, and I'm just going to paste that link right here. And what you'll see is we have, so this is actually something I have never tested with this theme. There's something with this theme. This is actually kind of supposed to be a tab. So we have to test that, obviously. This would be a create an account. And then if somebody had an existing account, remember how we set it up for people that want to be part of, we wanted this to be for new users and existing users. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on create account, and then I could create an account. But before I do that, I want to point out a couple of things, because I know some people asked us specifically about this. So let's jump back over here and let's go into our advanced options, and we're registrations. So we do have custom registration forms where you can create a registration form and collect additional information if you want. But most of the times you'll just be able to use a regular registration form. And you'll see right now, we are letting the theme style this form. So that one didn't work properly with our tabs here. So I'm going to click on WishList Member styled theme, and I'm going to click apply. And now let's jump back over here into Firefox, and you will click the refresh button, and you'll see now that it's right here. This is a all white background, and it doesn't really look great with that theme. So we kind of want to change some stuff in there. But now I know that there's probably some real techies out there saying, what are those other settings for? So I'm going to go back here to legacy. And this is, like I said, we started this back in 2008, Chris. So this is a long time ago. And the good thing about this that we kept it in here is some of this stuff gives you the ability to override a lot of stuff. I hate it when I look at it. I like the newer stuff. So what I'm gonna do though is I'm going to switch it back to theme style, because that's what you probably most likely want. And most themes are gonna make it really clean. But then you're also right here. People ask us this all the time. I want to make it look a really specific way. So under the CSS, everything that we've got, if you want to go in and get like really geeky out, you can change the CSS for whatever you want to. So you could style that there, and it's all right there in one spot. So for now, let's just, we've left it back where we had it. So hopefully this will be clean. And then what I'm going to, wow, I'm really low on time with my countdown timer. So let's
Don't even worry about it. I'm sure
okay.
everybody's loving this.
Okay, cool. So because we're almost there, because there's a few things that I wanted to show you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new user, and I'll just call this tester, tests a lot. And then I will see, test that. Whoops, I don't even know what I typed. Now, this is really interesting right here. We do have settings in here where you can require the people to use a higher level password. You know, sometimes you can say, oh, I just want it to be a minimum of 8 characters. So if they try to put 6, you won't do that. Then you could say, I want it to be strong password, all kinds of different things there. So that right there was all set, and I'm going to click submit registration, and I'm going to say don't save. I don't need to save that. So what happened there was whenever I set this up, it just went strictly to a message. Remember how I talked about this page? But what I could have done was I could have set that to go to a very specific page. and the after registration page will only be shown one time. And so that's where you might have like a welcome video, you might have tracking code, a bunch of different things that you could put there. And you would probably want to have like some sort of a link to go now to your login page. So that, you know, you can build out whatever you want. But now that I have logged in as a user, I want to point out something that is really helpful. And that's this. This is WordPress. At one point in time, WordPress put it in there, and anybody that logs in, they're going to see this WordPress bar here, right? And so I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to fix that. And it's under logins, right? Because this deals with the login. So it makes sense that it would be under logins. And I'm just going to say, disable the WordPress admin bar for members when logged in. Now, right there. I'm going to point out one more thing. I'm going to show you one more trick. And then we're going to pretty much wrap up on some of this stuff in terms of building it. So you'll see before I hit refresh, I want to point something out. This is WordPress. So they have a link where you could go and you could edit your profile. And if you did that, I'll actually just show it to you. It's really, really ugly, right? I mean, that's the WordPress profile. That's part of WordPress. So I'm just going to hit back. And what we've done is we've given you the ability to build a page with a simple short code. Now it has your styling, and somebody could go and they could update all their fields. But I also want to point out that this logout thing is right here. And so now, remember, I turned this whole bar off here with WishList Member. So now I'm going to hit refresh, and you'll see now the bar's gone. It looks a lot better, but how do I log out? So we made it super, super simple here. And for you guys that know WordPress well, this is going to make total sense to you. If you've never used WordPress, this may have been kind of overwhelming to you, but don't worry. We've got tons of videos actually to teach you how to use WordPress. We also have tons of training videos to show you how to use WishList Member as well. But right here, I'm going to go to the appearance, and I'm going to go to the menus. And this theme had one, so I didn't actually create a menu, but I'm just going to create one simple. I'll just call it my menu, and we'll create that. And you'll see that I can just say, yeah, I want to add all these pages here. And so now these pages are on my menu. And let's see, I don't know this theme at all. So this is brand new, automatically add. Okay, this should be automatically, I think. Okay, what I wanted to mainly point out to you is that we have these new checkboxes right here called login and log out, and we can add those to the menu. Now, if you're not logged into the site, login is going to show up. If you are logged into the site, log out will show up. So let's just click save. Actually, just okay, I need to assign where I want it to go. So I better choose that one. Let's click on Save Menu. And now I'm going to jump back into Firefox, and I'm going to refresh the site. And it should be the new menu that I just created. Let's click refresh. You see now, remember I just put the, and see, this doesn't make any sense, right? Page 3, 2, 1. You probably, I got a little bit of OCD. Chris, Ray's probably laughing in the background, but you'll see that I want to get those in order. And now I'm going to click Save Menu. And you'll see now, if I hit refresh, that is now organized exactly how I wanted it to. Page 1, page 2, page 3, and then log out. Okay, so that was, man, a super, super quick run through on that. We already customized the log. Yeah, so there's some stuff that I want to talk to you guys about. Upcoming roadmap. Chris, is it typical? Do you want me to jump over to the deal page and kind of explain what it is?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so let's say AppSumo, and I'm going to AppSumo, and you scroll down here. I don't think it's always going to be here. Right now, we're in the top position, which is which is kind of cool. So I'll just click
Yeah,
here.
killing it.
It's been a wild ride. And first I got to say thank you, really, to all the new Sumolings, and then also especially our longtime users. We were a little worried what they would think about it, but we've got people out there saying, man, I've been using you guys for the last 5, 7, 8 years and paying you annually, and I love it, and they're happy to pay us. And then they see this and they're just like blown away. So it's been super, super exciting. So thank you guys. I told, if you've read all these questions, I said, this deal with AppSumo was never about a money grab. We were never trying to generate just a ton of cash. It was always about one primary thing, and that was about building really an army of just loyal enthusiasts, loyal evangelists. And I have to say that this has far, far exceeded my expectations. We thought that we would do one thing in terms of our numbers, and we're like right at the 1 week mark, and we've already blown through that expectation. So there's been a lot of questions about the codes and what are they for, and are we going to add more to stack them? And unfortunately, we're not going to add any more stacking options. And the reason for that is because these codes that we put, everybody's kind of surprised that they're going as fast as they are. And I'm almost positive that they're going to sell out. So let me explain to you what they are and what you get. So really, a lot of people kind of wondered, did we do anything different from what's on our main site? In fact, let me go over here real quick, Chris, and I'm just going to go to the member. Let's just jump straight to pricing. So this is our pricing on our regular website, and we're not even advertising this about AppSumo because we still have people coming organically and they're still buying like our regular pricing. So we charge $147 for one site, $197 per year for 3 sites, and then $297 and then $397. So let's jump back over here to the AppSumo, because there were some questions about what did you include in the deal and what did you not include? Like, did we strip out features and everything? And for us, it was like, it's more how we don't actually strip out any features in any version of our product. It's really about how many sites will you be able to get automatic updates and support from our team. And so on this AppSumo deal, for one code, just $49, you'll be able to run WishList Member on 3 sites, 3 different sites, and all 3 of those sites will get you automatic updates for life. And that also gives you support. Now, so people are going crazy and they're stacking these up and they're saying, I already stacked 50, and we're just not going to do more codes to stack. And I know that some people are double stacking, just using another email account, and that's not the intention of the deal, but just to be honest, we can't police that, right? So that's up to you. If you want to do that, we may figure something out way later down the road or something, but I don't know. But right now it's 3 sites for $49. The next one jumps you all the way up to 10, and the next one bumps you all the way up to 50. Now, with 50 sites, why would you need 50 sites? Okay. Believe it or not, we do have some just crazy entrepreneurs that build all kinds of sites, right? And they already have more than 50 sites, and they're 50 sites at their own sites. We have had questions come up. It was like, well, I'm an agency. I would like to have more. Could I do it? It was like, well, if you're an agency, maybe we're going to work out. But the key thing is, it falls over into the question where people say, if I build one of these sites and then I sell it to somebody else, can they take that license key with them? and to run WishList Member. And so the answer to that is yes, you can transfer that license key with that site to them, and then their site will get unlimited updates for life and unlimited, but their site will get unlimited updates. But what they won't get is they won't get support because we're selling it to you. So you're the one that's getting the support. We can't provide lifetime support to 50 different people. This doesn't turn you into a reseller of WishList Member. It does give you the ability to create membership sites and then sell those with a lifetime license, which, you know, like I said, we're not going to do this again. So that might be kind of a unique situation where you can sell a site that has, you know, updates on the software for life. So that's kind of a cool thing. And we may work something out in terms of where if you transfer that to them, they may be able to come in and create some sort of a support account with us for some sort of a fee, but the license can go with the site for the updates forever. So no problem with that. All right, Chris, do we have any more questions about the code? Because I know that you said that we have, I know we've gone over, so I'm sorry about that. I was trying to go as fast as I could. I know we've had a ton of questions about kind of our roadmap and some of the things that we're doing. So I did have a couple things to show there, but then I know if we want to open it up to just questions that are just all over the map, I'm willing to do those.
Yeah, cool. Well, before we dive into that, I want to, I'm going to take over the screen for 1 second because like I said in the comments for people, this has been a crazy deal. It's been blowing past all of our expectations. It's been the water cooler talk around the office because it's just an incredible deal. We're so grateful for Tracy and his team for putting this together. So I want to do something special for everybody on here. So as you can see, WishList is selling like crazy. We have 27 reviews on here. So if you guys decide to take a chance on WishList and you guys leave a review, I'm going to share with you guys this giveaway. So all you got to do, you share a review, you post it here, give us your email address, post a review here, share it with us. Tomorrow at noon, I'll be going through these and just picking one of them out and sharing $25 in AppSumo credits. So I'll just be adding it to your AppSumo account. Now, the catch, if we can get this up to 50 reviews, I'm going to double that. So if we can get 50 reviews on here, they don't have to be 5-star reviews, honest reviews. Obviously, we would like 5 stars, but honest reviews from you guys about your experience with WishList. You share those, you fill out this form. I'll be sending it out. I'll share it with you guys right now, actually. And you do that. I got to stop sharing this. And if we can get it up to 50, we double that. If not, it's still going to be $25 in AppSumo credits just to say thank you for you guys for joining us on this webinar and showing such amazing support for WishList Member. So that is what I wanted to say. And yeah, next up, Tracy, you with me?
Yes, I am.
Cool,
so I think I probably need to share my screen right now, right? We're just
yes. Now you
just
you
on
can share
video.
yours and we
Okay,
can go
so
over the roadmap.
okay, let me make sure I got this where I wanted to be. Yep. Let me hit share. Man, I love Zoom. We use Zoom all of the time. Okay. So what I'm doing here is now I have jumped back into to Chrome. I was in Firefox earlier. And now when I was going through all that, I was usually using the plugin that I downloaded directly right out of. You saw I redeemed a code and I downloaded it directly from our customer center. So that had everything in it. But what this one is that I am showing on my screen is what we call a pre-release, because you know there's been a lot of questions. Are you doing this integration? Are you doing that? So the biggest one is WooCommerce, okay? And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you that we basically have it right here. And I was actually playing around with it and I wanted to show you like exactly how it worked and everything. And lo and behold, WooCommerce released a huge update today. And it was very big and it's a new thing. And so now we still have some stuff that we got to work through. But it's not going to be a big deal, but you'll see that it is already here in the integrations. It is like ready to go. And our intent is to release it very soon. Ray's probably back there is like, no, don't. But I'm just going to say very, very soon. Okay. So that's this. Now, email providers, you'll see that we have a lot on here. And I had in my mind, I already knew that we were going to add SendFox. And here's why. Because did I mention that I'm a sumoling myself? And I bought SendFox. And when I saw the deal, I was like, this looks good. And I was super pumped about it. And so I'm planning to use it for some of my personal stuff. So I definitely have a vested interest in it. Then all of a sudden, when we came right out of the gate, I didn't, somehow I missed the Sumo deal for MooSend, but wow, it seems incredibly popular. I'll say that because we've had a lot of requests for it. I also went and I looked through their documentation. They've got a strong API. I already reached out to their team. They followed up with us, and these guys seem like they're going to be great to work with. So next up on our email integrations are SendFox and MooSend. And then I know that there's going to be a whole list of other people saying, can we do this? Can we do this? And we're gonna do the ones that we can. You know, like I said, integrations are all different. Many times it's very, very, very straightforward. And so if that's the case, then we can just pop them out really quick. But in some cases, they do all kinds of different things, like this one, Drip. Drip has a very elaborate campaign and tagging system. And so it took us a long time to get that one out there door, but we did. We also integrate with Infusionsoft, and that's in actually that one's over here in the payment providers, but you can do it for email as well. But it goes right there. Oh, there it is. Already had it activated. So the reason I wanted to show this to you is not to push Infusionsoft, but I wanted to show you something just so that you kind of get a feel for integrations with companies that have tags, because this will give you an idea on how we do stuff. You'll see here that I've got this connected, and then we'll come over here to the tags. And in this site, you know, in our demo, I created one that had level 1, level 2. And this is just one of my sites that I play around with and test all the time. I have 4 sites. So I'm just going to go to the level 1, and you'll see this is kind of the layout and the structure that we have when we build these things. So when someone gets added to level 1, because we're modifying level 1, I have the ability to apply a tag that's in my Infusionsoft account. When I click here, it brings a whole list of tags here for me. So I can add a tag or I can remove a tag. Now, I also have the ability to do that when someone gets removed from a level and then when they get canceled from a level. So you can see where it would be very, very powerful if you're doing something like your payment integration came from Stripe and then they didn't pay, or even PayPal, and then they got canceled. Now with your email provider, you could apply the tags and follow up with them accordingly. And now let's click close. And then this is going to be the last thing, Chris. And then I will open it up to questions. So I had this enabled. I meant to turn it off because I wanted to point out 2 things. This is one of our newest integrations, Evidence. I love these guys, Evidence, because what they are is one of the social proof platforms. And one of the owners, co-founders, is a real good friend of mine. So I've been working with them, and I also use some of their other tools that are just excellent. And so the reason that I'm excited about this integration is because this is what we would call an outgoing integration. Now, what happens is I explained this to you on levels. So we have a membership level, and they have a web hook. Okay, so this is the web hook that I just pulled out of their account. Okay, now in our membership level, anytime somebody gets added to our membership level, I'm going to send them, basically I'm sending them first name, last name, email address, and then whatever piece of text. And so now their system gives you the ability to display the little social proofs, and there's lots of other systems that are doing it. The reason that I'm so excited about this one is because we were able to knock it out very, very quickly. And it's an integration that's completely us outgoing. So if somebody has an API, a system, and they can do all these cool things, when we send them information, we're able to knock it out very, very quickly. So that's evidence. And now let's look at the other one. Now this one, you guys may recognize Response Suite. Now, these guys are awesome. They recently had an AppSumo deal, and I also picked it up myself. Did I mention I'm a Sumoling and I buy almost everything? So whenever we do have more of these AppSumo deals, if I see it and I want it, and I usually end up buying almost everything that I think that I can use in my business, I look at it and I evaluate, could I get this to work with WishList Member? And if so, would it be helpful to me and other membership site owners? If the answer to that is yes, then we easily collaborate on doing a new integration. Now, what happened with Response Suite is very different. Now, these guys are rolling it out. If you have a Response Suite, it's going to be in your account, I think, on Thursday this week. So I'm just going to integrate this. And basically, all they needed was they needed to get a URL from us, and they needed to get our API key. Now, they did everything on their side. That's what I call an incoming integration, because what's super cool is you can set up surveys and you can filter your people out. And then once they take the survey and you say, are you a beginner? And they fall into that beginner category, you can add them to a level that you called beginner. If they fell into and they got filtered out as they were intermediate, you could now push them into a level for intermediate. They also give you the ability to remove people from levels. And so that's like super exciting. And then finally, we'll go back here. I already mentioned Zapier. Zapier is the two-way integration. That means we got stuff incoming. So people are collecting information and then they send it to us, and then we can create membership accounts for them automatically. And then outgoing, when something happens to us, we can push information back out to Zapier. So Zapier is the middle of the road. They take incoming and outgoing, and then they match them up. WishList Member can do this. Well, Google Docs can collect information, right? We use Slack for communication, and we're looking at adding one for Slack. And I haven't said anything about that, where we'll have a direct integration with Slack so that as soon as somebody registers, you will just have your website send something to a channel and say, hey, we just had a new sign up. And now everybody on your team is aware of it. And then boom, they can jump into the site and they can give them a welcome or whatever you wanted to do on that. And you can already do that with Zapier right now. And then finally, in this category, you'll see that we already have some stuff for webinars. GoToWebinar, we're about to add Zoom. And then also I happen to have purchased one from a deal called Live Webinar. So you think that one might be coming up here pretty soon. But this is what's been talked about the most lately, and that's the LMS systems. LearnDash is wildly popular. WP Courseware has been around for a long time. They're very, very popular in the WordPress space. And then also eLearn Commerce. So I don't have these installed, so I can't show them to you. But if you remember what I showed you with the tags, there's basically 3 actions that can happen for us. You get added, you get removed, or you get canceled in the membership site. And then these LMS systems, they have courses, and the courses, when you come into a membership level, we can add you to have access to a course. Or we can go backwards. If you had access to a course, we can now push you into or remove you from a level. So it gives you a ton of flexibility over your integrations on that. And that's how we're building all of the LMSs. I know there's been some questions about like Tutor LMS and then also Lifter. The problem with Tutor is they don't have an API released yet. I know that it's on their roadmap and it's coming. So we're going to be adding that as well. Lifter had an API, but it was missing a couple things. So we will be working on that. And then there's so many more that are about to come. And the reason that I wanted to take a little bit of extra time to explain to you about the LMSs, that why I'm so excited about them. I had a conversation with Justin from LearnDash when we were at WordCamp US. And in the past, like I said, we've been at this for a long time. It was really WishList everything. WishList Member, and then we were creating WishList Quiz, WishList, all these WishList plugins. And at some point, you just can't do everything. We have so many people that are using WishList Member that build courses, and you can put a video on a page and you can link up a menu and you can create a course. But then the next level, if you want to take a course higher, now you got to track who's watched what, give them a status bar and everything. And I always thought that we were going to build course management into WishList Member. But what I've learned over the years is that when you do everything, you stop getting good at what you really need to do. And so we took a look and we restructured the whole thing. And we said, you know what we want to do? We want to do memberships great. We want to be the best option out there for memberships. And that's what we've been doing. And now our roadmap is let's put as many integrations in with services and other plugins that are at the top of their field. Yeah, there's going to be some things that we add along the way. And this is one example right here, content control. We actually had a plugin that we called WishList Content Control, and it had WishList Scheduler, WishList Archiver, WishList Content Manager. And this was for what you would call dripping. You could create a dripping schedule, and then an archiver, you could cut people's access off. So kind of like the digital magazine subscription. If you had access before this date, you got access to the content. But if you came in after that, you didn't. That was always very, very complicated to do. There's very few plugins that did it. We did it as an add-on. But what we did was we looked and we said, what makes the most sense? We don't want it to be super overwhelming, but this is functionality that we wanted everybody to have. So we built it directly into WishList Member. So Chris, I know we've gone way over time, so I think I answered most all the questions. I will switch up my screen. If you want to ask me any other questions, I'll be glad to do that.
No, this was incredible, and your team has been mightily chugging away on these Q&As. We've already answered 50 of them. So yeah, we can wrap it up here because we're coming up on the end of our time. But Tracy, thank you so much for doing this. Sumo Link's on here. If you do have any other questions that did not get answered, you can hit those up on the AppSumo deal page where the reviews are. Tracy, I'm sure they can also reach out to your team directly. What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, the best way is to go to our support desk. I think you can get there directly at support@wishlistproducts.com. Let me hit you want me to hit the stop? I'll hit the stop share here. You can go directly support.wishlistproducts.com. You can also send an email to support@wishlistproducts.com. I will tell you a couple things, and I'm going to do a pinned post about this. We've been at this for a long time, and we have a great support team, and they're very good at getting back, and we always get back. So if something happens and you did not hear from us, you got to make sure that you check your spam filter to make sure that you just missed it. You didn't like totally miss the email. But right now, we have had an unusually high amount of tickets, high volume.
Patient, everybody. This is a crazy time for our partners, and they're doing everything they can to support you guys.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And if you really want to get a faster response, be brief in your questions and we'll get back to you. And then you might follow it, because sometimes people will send like a 9-part question and it's like, oh man, that one question is going to take an hour. And then we have, 30 people that had quick ones, and we'd rather kind of focus on them. So what happens is yours kind of gets pushed back. So just kind of be aware of that.
Spend an extra minute or two making your question as quick and clean as possible to help their team out so they can help you out. Yep. Awesome. Great. Well, Sumoling's on here. Like you saw, WishList Member is incredible. I hope you guys will check it out. Again, it's available on AppSumo right now. You guys know how to get there. And again, it's all backed by the AppSumo 60-day guarantee. So feel free to play around with it, get it set up on your WordPress site. Let us know how it's working for you guys. And if you have any of those questions, again, you can leave them on the deal page or you can reach out to their team directly. And I'm going to post that giveaway link one more time. Again, if you guys just joined, the way this is going to work is if you leave a review for WishList Member on the AppSumo page. Again, just an honest review. It doesn't have to be 5 stars, although we would appreciate it if you feel like it deserves that. Again, you leave it there, you fill out this form, and we're going to be drawing a winner tomorrow at noon for $25 in AppSumo credits. And if we can get the reviews up to 50 reviews in total for WishList Member, we are going to double that to $50 in credits, just to say thank you to you guys for supporting us, for supporting WishList Member. Really appreciate it. Tracy, you have any final words to say before we sign off?
I really want to wrap up, Chris, and really just say thank you. I mean, I know we're way over time, and I appreciate everybody staying. This has been way beyond our expectations, and I'm so excited about getting it out to the Sumoling community, AppSumo community, and it's been a fun ride. So thanks again for having us.
Thank you so much. Everyone on here, let's give Tracy a big round of applause for taking an hour and 10 minutes out of his time to share this with you guys. Thank you all so much. Tracy, thank you. I'm sure we'll be talking soon, and everybody have a great night.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.